Hello and welcome to our tax savings information session. Today, I will be covering tax information around the U.S. market and Canadian market, mostly the U.S. market. I'll be going back and forth in my presentation on the IRS website. However, for those of you that are on this presentation and are Canadian, the numbers are very close, and when it comes to laws in Canada and the U.S. around tax savings, based on where you live, you just want to make sure that you have a good accountant, someone that is knowledgeable about home-based business and network marketing and direct sale tax write-offs. Also, you want to make sure your accountant has done audits and have been successful doing audits, because remember, when it comes to your finances, you want to make sure that your finances are in capable hands, and so it's very important to have a good accountant that are knowledgeable about these things. And I will cover that in our presentation as we move forward. Just a little bit about myself. I come from teaching people how to save on taxes for over 20 years and also teaching people how to create wealth all over the world. So for those of you that are meeting me for the first time, welcome to our tax information session. And again, reach out to me, get a hold of me if you'd like to learn more about tax savings or making extra income. Now, this disclaimer is just to show that I am not an accountant. I do not work for the CRA or the IRS. I'm just divulging information right from their websites, and you now have to take that information and, based on your lifestyle, get a hold of a capable tax accountant in order to get the best savings possible with your taxes. Okay? Now, one thing I had to learn being an immigrant moving to Canada is my relationship with money, how to respect money, how to treat money properly, how to invest properly, how to save on taxes, how to create money. So in my presentation today around taxes, we're going to be covering some aspects with money that maybe you yourself will have to become good at. Maybe your relationship with money is not good. Maybe you have less in your bank account than you would like to have. This exercise will help you to appreciate and value why it's important to have a good relationship with money and your taxes. I'd like for you to meet my tax accountant, Mr. Robert Watterson. He has over 30 years in the field as a forensic accountant. He actually trains accountants and works with the IRS and the CRA. So feel free to reach out to him and let him know that you got connected through me, Anil Ramcherider. And Robert Watterson has done thousands of audits. He has never lost any, and he's very good at getting people savings on their taxes against their job income, and as well having a legitimate home-based business. So please reach out to him. So let me ask you a question. Now we're going to get you involved in this presentation, okay? I just shared some stuff about me and having the right mindset around taxes and money and meeting my accountant. So why are you here? Would you rather have a dollar saved or a dollar earned? Which one do you think is more valuable? Well, both are good, except a dollar saved, you have a dollar. A dollar earned is not a dollar, because a dollar earned is taxed. So you are around 70 cents with a dollar earned. Would you rather a $17,000 raise or a $10,000 tax refund? Well, again, they both are good. However, a $10,000 tax refund is more than a $17,000 raise. Especially for those of you that are watching this that have high incomes, sometimes a $17,000 raise puts you in an income bracket that allows you to get taxed more. So the $17,000 raise wasn't really a benefit, okay? Because when you think about it, it could be around $9,000 that you get to take home. So when you look at this scenario, a dollar saved and a $10,000 tax refund is way better. Now, question, do you feel you pay too much in taxes? Do you like paying taxes? Are you aware of the taxes you pay in Canada and the US? Now, this presentation is not to knock taxes or say don't pay your taxes. However, this presentation is to open up your mind again with your relationship with money and you paying unnecessary taxes, especially where you're entitled to have tax savings having a home-based business writing off against your income. So let's go straight to the IRS's website and see what they have to say in the US. And again, remember, I'm teaching you straight from the websites online. This is not my website. So let's talk about taxation in the U.S. so you have an idea of what's going on in your own backyard. So when you look at taxes, of course, there is income tax. Okay, that's one tax you pay. There's also sales tax. There's so many taxes in the U.S. Capital gains tax. Most importantly, we're talking about here is payroll tax. There's also taxes when you shop or buy groceries. There's also an excise tax when you buy alcohol, cigarettes, or fill up with gas at the pump. So when you really look at your spending, ladies and gentlemen, and what comes off the dollar, before you realize it, you don't have a lot left over because we're taxed on so many different levels. So I'm educating you right now on what you can do to keep more of your income, to keep more on the dollar. Because when you pay income tax, payroll tax, federal tax, state tax, shopping tax, excise tax, I mean, you don't really have a lot left over. And let's go back to our presentation here so you understand exactly what I mean. What about fees and licenses? Do you recognize any of these that you pay yearly, monthly, and religiously? Like, shouldn't this be another tax? Why do we need to have a sticker on our license plate? We've already paid for the plates and we have insurance. Why do we have to pay a sticker, right? And look at all these extra taxes. And they're called fees, but they actually are taxes. And where does this money go? It actually goes to the government. So again, you're getting taxed on the same dollar where you're paying income tax, payroll tax, your money for the pension comes off, unemployment. There's so many different taxes. So when you look at the average U.S. family or Canadian family, there's not a lot left over when people bring home their paycheck. So this is important for you to pay attention to having a job. Now, how much do you pay in taxes? So again, let's go to the IRS's website. Remember, this is not a website that Anil puts up. This is the actual IRS website. You notice the URL at the top of the screen here. So it's important when you go to a governmental website that you're actually going to the correct website, okay? Very important. Now, let's talk about that here. So here's your tax income brackets. So from 0 to 9,225, you're taxed 10%, and you see it goes on a sliding scale. And that's for single people, and then there's for married people. And then if you're filing married separately, if you're the head of the household. So you can run, but you can't hide. It doesn't matter what stature you have in life. You get taxed. The government has everything nicely covered here. So let's just say you earn over $400,000. Almost half of your income is gone in taxes. Here's a question. Are you okay with that? Is that something that's acceptable to you? Do you like working 6 months out of the year for free and the other 6 months you get to keep your income? Okay? To me, it's almost like slave labor. That's not okay with me. So let's talk about what's available to you with taxes and saving. Actually, I just closed my screen, so just bear with me here. Let me reopen it. That's what happens when you're being overly zealous on a presentation. This won't take long. Okay, thank you for your patience. Let's get back to our presentation. So the slide I was on was showing you the tax brackets that you're in the US. So let's go to that, and then we can continue in our conversation. Okay, so then the person I want to talk to you about now is Mr. Sandy Botkin. He is known formally as an IRS attorney. He was legal counsel for the IRS, so he represented the IRS in court against corporations. He also wrote the book Lawyer Taxes. He also has a video on YouTube. Please Google it. It's called Sandy Botkin Tax Savings, and you can actually watch. There's an 8-minute video where he brilliantly talks about what your benefits are having a home-based business, and he simply puts it here: you would have to be brain dead not to start a home-based business. Well, why? You can save up to $10,000 per year and sometimes even more, writing off against your expenses with your job, having a home-based business, against your cell, internet, computer, your food, alcohol, advertising, business trips, anything to do with entertaining a client, even gift giving, promotional items. We're going to get into that in the presentation today. So Mr. Sandy Bodkin is actually someone you should seriously be listening to and following, especially because he trained the IRS. What about Mr. Robert Kiyosaki? For those of you that know him, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and Cash Flow Quadrant. He at one time was not rich. However, he learned a valuable lesson. He said this: the tax laws are not fair. They're written for the rich and by the rich. If you want to be rich, you need to use the same tax laws the rich use. Powerful advice. Advice I myself have taken and applied over the years. Now here's something the Fraser Institute did on a double income home, mom and dad working. It showed here 42% of their income went in taxes. And we're not just talking income tax. We're talking shopping, providing for their children, going about normal everyday living. And when you look at what was said here, since 1961, taxes have increased more than shelter and clothing and food. And would you agree taxes will continue to go up, and the cost of living and inflation? So the only question is, what are you doing? What actions are you taking to start having a better relationship with money and saving on your taxes? That's the only question, because these things are going to go up with or without you and me. The question is, what are we doing? Okay? And when you look at what the government does with our money, I mean, there's a lot of silly things that the government spends our money on, which infuriates a lot of Americans and Canadians. So again, it's important that we educate ourselves, especially knowing that the government has put home-based businesses in place, knowing that they cannot take care of you at retirement, and they want you generating a plan B or secondary income, because when you get to retirement, they can't take care of you with the pension. And I always ask people that, what are you doing to take care of your retirement? So let's talk about what are you entitled to with write-offs, okay? So this is with home-based business owners who have a job and have expenses. So let's give it a second to load. So again, from the IRS's website, when you look at what you're allowed to deduct from your income with expenses, so medical, dental, mortgage, interest you pay on stuff, business use of home, business use of car, business travel expenses, business entertainment expenses, work-related education expenses. For example, you may do a seminar or a course or a training to better yourself at your job or your business. That's tax deductible. Employee business expenses, so casualty, disaster, theft losses. This list goes on and on and on with what you're entitled to. In fact, let's go back to the presentation so I could bring that up and show you what I mean. Let's look at the list in more details with what you're entitled to having a home-based business. And again, we're going to go to the IRS website so you can actually see it straight from the government. And when you look at the table of contents here on what you can file, so this is not a 401k. This is a different tax form. That's why it's important to make sure you have a good accountant. You can write off bad debt. You can write off car and truck expenses, office expenses for your home, depreciation of something, insurance for your home and vehicle, interest, legal fees, professional fees. You can write off rent and mortgage expenses, travel, meals, and entertainment. The list goes on and on and on. So you see what you're entitled to here, ladies and gentlemen, directly from the IRS's website. It's up to you now to take action, filing those expenses every year on your income tax, having a home-based business. So let's go back to the presentation so we can move forward. So how do you track your expenses? Well, you keep everything. All receipts, all invoices, all bills moving forward. There's online tools you can use that you can take photos of your receipt, upload it in the cloud. Mr. Sandy Bodkin has an application for iPhones and Androids called TaxBot. When you go to www.ourgwt.com, ourgwt.com, you can actually get TaxBot for $8 a month through myself, because we have a relationship with Mr. Sandy Bodkin to provide that app to our members. You also have car mileage tracking logbooks you can get at stationary outlets in the US and here in Canada like Staples. You can get the 12-month folio. It looks like a little accordion. You keep it in your car and you can put your restaurant, gas, receipts in there. So again, there's lots of ways to track your expenses. With myself, my business is in fashion and skincare. It's called GWT. I will be doing another presentation after this to show you the benefits of GWT as a legitimate home-based business. However, whenever I get a receipt for gas or food or I meet with someone for a coffee, I write everything down on the receipt. I write down the date, the amount, the purpose of the meeting. And the reason why is the printing on receipts fade because it's thermal printing, it's not ink. So within 7 years, that sheet of paper is completely white. And if you leave it in the car or in the sun, it'll fade even quicker. So using TaxBot and other apps, you can also take a photo of the receipt and upload it in the cloud. However, if you're filing the receipt, you want to have a black ink pen or a permanent marker. And when you get a receipt, just write on the receipt the name of your business, who you're meeting with, the date and time, and also the amount of the receipt. So if it fades, you have a record. Because let's just say you get audited, worst case scenario. If you have any receipts that are faded, the CRA or the IRS will disallow all of your expenses. So you want to be very, very careful with that, okay? So proper record keeping as of right now is absolutely critical. And for those of you that are watching this presentation and you've not been doing that, that's one area where your relationship with money is not good. Proper record keeping, important. And putting stuff in a Kleenex box is not proper record keeping. File things properly, ladies and gentlemen. Now let's do the tax exercise. So if you do not have this document, you can take a blank sheet of paper and just draw out the columns and write down the expenses, and I'll walk you through what those are and you can actually see how it works. So again, these are not expenses that are foreign to you. You have these expenses. So these are my expenses. You want to use your own numbers. So let's go through this exercise really quickly. You can do it again at the end of this presentation if you want to have more details on this form. However, these are the main expenses people have around North America. So sell. Mine's $150 a month, so I put $150 in the middle column times 12, $1,800 on the right. Internet, $100, $1,200. Car and transit, it says see below, so let's scroll. So monthly insurance times 12. Fuel, I average about $100 a month, or sorry, a week. So times 52 weeks, it's $5,200. Again, put your own numbers. If you use Uber, taxis, public transportation, bus, train, all those are tax deductible, okay, because that's transportation for those of you that do not have a vehicle. Maintenance and repair, so oil changes, tire rotation, monthly checkups on your vehicle, even a brand new stereo. Maybe you had repairs done in your vehicle. Mine was about $1,000 a year, so again, put your own numbers there. Lease and finance, you can write off up to $904 taxes in per month. And again, this is the amount. If you own the vehicle, you can write off against the depreciation of the vehicle. It averages about $1,000 a year. And here in this example, this is for those of you that have a job and you have a side business. So with filing your taxes, with your vehicle, you can write up to 50% of the expense on the vehicle. For those of you that use your vehicle 100% for business, you can write up 100% of the vehicle. So you pick from these two figures if it's 100% or half based on your lifestyle, okay? And then what you do is you move that figure up here. So in this case, I put 50%. However, if you use your vehicle 100% for business, you don't have a job, put it here. Now this is very important exercise for any of you as well who have a business and not a job. You want to make sure you actually are writing off as much as you can. I have shown this exercise to people who thought they were writing off as much as they could being a business owner and they were not. So this exercise is going to open up your mind to more tax saving benefits. Okay, now meals. The rule of thumb is 50%. So if I take you to a Starbucks and I buy you a coffee, I can write off your coffee as the expense, not my own. So let's just say you average $300 a week in food and entertainment. Half is 150 times 52 is 7,800. Now, food and entertainment could include taking a client to a baseball game, hockey game, football game. Maybe you take a client out to dinner. You take him to a nightclub. Whatever you spend on clients or entertaining clients or sharing your business is considered meals and entertainment. Let's just say you have your friends over for the Super Bowl, and before the game starts, you share with them what your business is all about, or you leave some of your business products lying around in your home during the Super Bowl, and you bought groceries and alcohol. That's tax deductible, because remember, even though your friends are at your home for the Super Bowl, you're also sharing with them about your home-based business. So you can write off that expense. So think about the money you spend on groceries and alcohol and entertaining friends and family that you're not writing off, and you actually do share with them about your home-based business while they're at your home. Now you can start, as you can see here, declaring that as an expense. For a lot of people, this is a huge one. Okay? Now, office. With write-offs, you can write off up to 25% of the square footage of your home or office. So let's just say it's 1,000 square feet. So say 200 to 250 square feet. So anything in that space is considered tax deductible. So your office chair, desk, computer, big screen TV. Let's just say you use your Xbox to play training videos and show your clients your business. That's tax deductible. Ink for your printer, paper, pen, paper clips, paintings on the wall, aquarium, I don't know, a cappuccino machine, coffee machine, water cooler. You have an expensive carpet or rug in your office, a recliner. Whatever you have in your office, ladies and gentlemen, in that space, that 250 square feet, that's tax deductible. So here I have about $2,000. So again, put your own numbers. Accounting fee. Again, most accountants who are capable and do a great job, $300. That's what Mr. Robert Watterson will charge to do your taxes. Travel. This is a big one. There are two scenarios with travel. I went on vacation. While I was on vacation, I shared with people about my business. You can only write off a percentage. Second scenario, I traveled on business to go expand my business in other countries. That's 100% deductible. Airfare, car rentals, hotel. So moving forward, stop taking vacations. Start taking business trips. Okay? And for those of you that are watching this that are mortgage brokers, financial planners, realtors, you are only allowed to write off travel within the state or province where you live, sometimes even in the city. Now with travel, you can write off global travel, because what I'm about to show you after is a business I'm in fashion and skincare, and we ship to 195 countries. So now my travel now, if I'm a realtor and I'm involved in GWT and the fashion and skincare, I can write off more with my travel. So keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen. You want to give yourself more options when it comes to travel deductions. Now, promotions, what does that mean? Well, you may want to gift to clients. You may want to entertain clients. When you think about gifting, for example, in my business that I use for home-based business tax write-offs, we gift at Mother's Day, Father's Day, Christmas, birthdays, Valentine's, various occasions. We give clients gifts for doing business with us. Are you writing off those expenses? Right now, when you're buying from the malls and stores to gift to people and even for yourself, is that something that you're deducting? Think of the thousands and thousands of dollars you're leaving on the table. So with promotion, this is something you want to take very seriously. And of course, I will show you the presentation that covers that. Now, rent and home, the law is you cannot write off against the loss in the business. So you want to make sure your business is profitable, even if you're making or earning $1 per year in your business. You must have profit. And again, you can write off up to 20% of your rent or mortgage, expenses, renovations, add-ons. Maybe you put a new roof on, fix your driveway, put a new water tank in, you install natural gas. Whatever you do with your home, put a new deck. It's 100% tax deductible when it comes to some of these things. And you can write off, again, like I say, up to 20% of your payments. Business. Well, the business I'm in, I paid $3,599, and that allowed me to have a global business in fashion and skincare. And it also allows me to build a team and provide mentorship. So remember, it doesn't matter what the business cost is. What's important about this line is in order to have all the deductions on these expenses that you have anyways, you must have a recognized, legitimate, functional, home-based business that the CRA and IRS recognizes and endorses. Okay, very, very important. You will get $0 back on any of these expenses if you're in a business that is not recognized by the government. So when you total up all these expenses, including the business cost, for now, put 3,599 in that column and total your expenses. Mine came to 33,283, and what I did is I moved it down here to this section. So bring your total down here, and then look at your tax bracket that you pay in Canada or the US per year before taxes, and you want to put it here. So in this case, mine was 35%. Now what's really interesting is your employer already takes taxes off your income. So now, because you have expenses with a home-based business, the government owes you money because now you can write off against your expenses. You see, if you just have a job and you file on a 401k or here in Canada a T4, that money comes off your paycheck, it's gone. It's gone. You will never see that back at all. However, because you have a home-based business now, the government owes you a refund because you had expenses in your business that you're writing off against. So in this case, I am owed $11,649.05. Now look at this. I spent $3,599 to be in my business one time. Just once. That's the business startup. One time. And I got a refund of $11,649. So now you do the math. That's almost triple or quadruple my investment. Did I lose anything? No. What did I get? I get a business. I got a tax refund. That's 4 times my business investment. And every year moving forward now, I can write off against my expenses. So this is very important to understand, ladies and gentlemen. And if you have not been getting the tax refund that you just did with this exercise, how many years have you been working full-time or part-time and spending money and you haven't been getting any of these expenses back? Recently, I had a family of 4 file their taxes with Mr. Robert Watterson that I've been working with. And each of them together totaled, as a family, $39,000 in tax refund. And you know what they said? They've been working their business, or actually been working at their jobs for over 10 years. So 39,000 times 10 is 390,000 plus interest plus investing. What would you do if you could get 10 years, maybe 20 years for some of you that have been working full-time, part-time? What would you do with that amount in your life? Could you pay off your mortgage? Could you buy a house cash? Could you assist your mom and dad? Maybe put your kids in a really good college or university? Maybe pay off some debt? Take care of some medical bills? So that's why it's important to file your taxes properly and be in a home-based business, which is a sole proprietorship. Here in Canada, it's a T2125. In the US, you have to figure out what that document is with your accountant, because the home-based business tax write-off are not the same as a 401k, okay? So this is very, very important information, ladies and gentlemen. You should be paying attention to, okay? Now, food for thought. If you found a $5 bill on the floor and no one was around, would you pick it up? Well, that's a silly question. Of course you would. Well, look at your tax exercise sheet that we just did. What's your refund? How many years have gone that you haven't been getting that refund? What would you do with that refund? Would you go on a trip, pay off some debt, maybe renovate your home, do an add-on, take care of a sick loved one, maybe put money aside for a rainy day or in a college fund for a child? What would you do? You just said you would not leave money on the floor. So every time, starting from right now, you spend money or buy a gift card and you don't get a receipt, you're leaving money on the floor. And that's another tip for you. Moving forward, start using gift cards, because gift cards are 100% tax deductible, because when you buy groceries or alcohol, or you reward a client with a Starbucks gift card or any gift card, because you're gifting it, it's 100% tax deductible. And when you use that gift card in your own business to entertain clients, it's also the tax deductible. So start using gift cards. Now, when you look at this based on your tax refund amount, can you see how this can save you on taxes, this simple exercise? Can you see the value of having a home-based business and what the IRS and CRA have put in place for you and I so we can keep more of our income? Do you see the value why it's important to save on your taxes? Why it's important to have a home-based business or look into starting a home-based business part-time, spare time? Even if you have a business, are you writing off fully on your expenses with your taxes? Because some of you are not. And so this is very important, ladies and gentlemen, moving forward with what I talked about at the beginning of my presentation about us having a better and proper relationship with money and taxes and keeping more of our income rather than not having enough to take care of what we got to take care of, with our weekly and monthly expenses. And so if you could earn an extra income by sharing what you learned today, would that be of interest to you? There are people in your life right now that did not see this presentation. You need to share this with them. They need to be educated on what's available to them. 9 out of 10 Americans and Canadians do not understand what's available to them through the IRS and CRA when it comes to tax savings and home-based business. They don't. They don't. And now you have the responsibility to share this with people. However, first it starts with you. You need to take ownership and responsibility for your lack of action over the years, not having a home-based business and saving on your expenses with your taxes. You need to take responsibility. Just like if you were flying in an airplane and the oxygen mask fell down, who do you put the oxygen mask on first? You or the person sitting next to you? Well, obviously you, because you are no good to anyone unconscious. So it's the same with your finances. How can you possibly empower your children, your spouse, your significant other, your family, your friends if you don't take care of your business, if you don't take care of your finances? And some of us are taking advice from the wrong people. Some of us are following the wrong people and taking advice from them, which keep putting us deeper and deeper and deeper into a hole that we can't even see daylight right now. It's all dark because we've been taking advice from people who have no right giving us advice on money or finances. So when you look at a home-based business, again, it's important to understand you need a home-based business that's recognized by the CRA. So get back in touch with the person who put you on this presentation, because we can recommend a home-based business that will get you thousands of dollars back on your taxes and allow you to have a global business where you can write off your travel and a lot of the expenses you're not writing off right now with your job and filing your taxes. The company is called Global Wealth Trade, and it's actually recognized by the CRA and IRS as a legitimate, recognized home-based business model. Now, why do I say that? It's very simple. GWT has been around for 11 years as a Canadian company, and we have thousands of members that file their taxes in Canada and the US with GWT, with the IRS and the CRA, and they've been getting their tax refunds and savings on their taxes. That's how I know GWT is legitimate, because the CRA and IRS does not send out tax refund to anything that's illegal. So pay attention. Pay attention to this presentation and what I covered today, and get back in touch with the person who put you on this tax saving presentation so you can learn more about how GWT, Global Wealth Trade, can benefit you being a home-based business so you can write off against your taxes with your job income. So in conclusion, my name is Anil Ramcharidhar. Today I was just divulging information I've been teaching people for over 20 years on how to have a legitimate home-based business so you can have tax savings against your job income. I want to thank you for your time. Get back in touch with the person who put you on this tax saving information session so you can learn what GWT has to offer you in the way of a home-based business to get those savings. Take care.